Hey, what is going on, guys? In this video today, we're going to be going over the brand new Fortnite update, Update 9.21. With a lot of Fortnite updates, you can tell immediately after reading the patch notes whether it's a good update or a bad update. But similar to what we saw last week with Update 9.20, I'm still not really sure how to feel about Update 9.21. There are some changes in here that, without a doubt, will have a positive impact on Fortnite as a whole. But the update also contains a few things that we should be really skeptical about and could easily end up countering a lot of the good things in 9.21. Just as a general overview of the update, we got a brand new weapon, a ton of rarity and drop rate adjustments, balance changes to various items/weapons, and a few other things as well. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Alright, so let's start this video off by talking about the new weapon introduced to Fortnite in Update 9.21, the Proximity Grenade Launcher. Much like the Storm Flip item, which was the new piece of content added to the game last update, the Proximity Grenade Launcher has been met with a decent amount of controversy and criticism from the Fortnite community. So in case you haven't gotten a chance to experience it yet, let me read you the brief description of the weapon from the patch notes, and then share a clip or two of players actually using it in-game. The weapon fires an arcing, bouncing, explosive projectile that explodes when in proximity of an opponent. The weapon comes in purple and gold rarity, has a fire rate of 0.65 shots per second, does 67/70 player damage per shot, does 131/138 environmental damage per shot, has a reload speed of 2.8/3 seconds, and finally holds 2 explosive rounds per clip. As I alluded to earlier, even though that's a decent little overview of the basic statistics of the weapon, you really need to see it in action to truly get a feel for it. So here you go.
Oh! No. He's sweating.
So I'm not surprised at all that people are initially reacting to this weapon in a mostly negative way. Explosive weapons have always had a bad reputation in Fortnite because even for the best players in the world, they can still be incredibly frustrating and difficult to deal with. I don't care if you're the best Fortnite player on the planet, if a team of 3 players rushes you and one of them just sits behind cover spamming rockets or grenade launcher shots or boombo shots over and over again, there's not much you can really do to counter that. And now we're facing a similar problem with explosive weapons/items that we faced with snipers before the hunting rifle got vaulted last week. Remember how much I and a lot of other people in the community complained about Fortnite having 5 different sniper rifles? Well, now we have 4 different explosive weapons and 2 different explosive items on top of that. The RPG, the grenade launcher, the boombo, the new proximity launcher, grenades, and dynamite. Now, to be fair, there definitely is way more variety in the explosive category than there was in the sniper category, but even so, 6 different explosive options seems a little much, especially when a lot of players have such a strong hatred for Fortnite explosives in general. So the overall consensus in the Fortnite community right now is that the proximity grenade launcher is actually a pretty overpowered weapon. However, since it's only been in the game for about a day so far, I'm gonna hold off on either agreeing or disagreeing with that opinion, at least for now. The next thing I want to cover about Update 9.21 is all of the rarity and drop rate adjustments, and trust me, a lot of them are actually really impactful. First off, we have what's probably my favorite part of the update, Fortnite increased the availability of big shields and chests from 11.3% to 12.09%, and increased the availability of mini shields and chests from 16.95% to 18.13%. And the reasoning for this change is, with items being added and removed, we've noticed that big shields and mini shields have been less available in chests. So we've increased the chance to find shields from chests to compensate for that. Although the increase in drop rate for both big and mini shields wasn't anything crazy, it's still a very welcome change. And the reasoning for doing it is absolutely spot on. Each time a new item gets added into the game, the odds of getting a big shield or mini shields from a chest decreases because now there's more items competing for the singular item spot in each chest. So it's good that Epic seems to understand that at least once every few months, they need to jump in and bump the odds of getting shields so it doesn't become too rare. Next up, we have another rarity adjustment change that I think everybody will agree is a positive one. Fortnite increased the overall chance to find shotguns and floor loot from 8.5% to 9.77%. Epic states that they made this change because, after seeing the community's feedback about shotgun availability, we've increased the shotgun availability from floor loot to make finding them in the early phases of the game easier. So since practically everybody wants to find a shotgun as soon as possible in games, I don't think anybody will be against this. However, let me quickly explain why I'm a bit skeptical about what they did here. This change wasn't addressing the spawn rate of any one specific weapon, it's just shotguns in general. So for all we know, they could have given a huge drop rate boost to the white tack and then a super small boost to every other shotgun. Or even a huge drop rate boost to all rarities of the tack and then barely any boost to the drop rate of the combats. I'm not necessarily saying they actually did this, and frankly I don't think they would, but I'm just pointing out that the way they presented the information doesn't really give enough detail. Now we move on to 3 more rarity adjustments that aren't as significant as boosting the drop rate of shield and shotguns, but each still have an interesting impact on certain aspects of the game. First off, we got a drop rate boost to the purple and gold variants of the infantry rifle. The floor loot drop rate was increased from 0.67% to 1.05%, and the chest drop rate was increased from 0.414% to 0.645%. As you can see by those numbers, the purple and gold infantry rifles were incredibly rare and still probably will be even after the slight boost. I've always thought those versions of the infantry rifle were really strong but also balanced, but you never really got the chance to use them because they're so rare. So I look forward to hopefully finding more of them now. Next, the white rarity version of the heavy assault rifle received a drop rate decrease. The floor loot drop rate was lowered from 2.04% to 1.71%, and the chest drop rate was decreased from 12.47% to 10.46%. The heavy AR really isn't a good weapon anymore, and the white version of it is especially garbage, so this should hopefully lead to players finding it considerably less of the time. And then we have a decrease in the drop rate of the mounted turret in floor loot going from 0.59% to 0.46%. Even with the slight little buff it got last week, nobody really uses it, so if you're not gonna vault it for whatever reason, I guess making it so that you find it as little as possible is the next best thing. And the final major change from Update 9.21 was a pretty significant overhaul to the Storm Flip item, which was of course added to the game last week in Update 9.20. In case you weren't aware or somehow forgot, this item created an absolute uprising, especially in the competitive community. So much so that within the first 24 hours or so, it was actually removed from the loot pool in Arena Mode and World Cup qualifiers, because it was obvious that changes needed to be made to it. So now, here are those changes. First off, damage dealt by the Storm Flip item now deals a flat 5 damage per second instead of being based on how much damage the Storm is currently dealing. Their reasoning for this is, we noticed with scaling damage that players held onto their Storm Flip item later into matches, creating undesirable effects. This change gives players more value in using it earlier in games. Even though I haven't seen a ton of feedback about this change yet, my best guess is that the competitive community is not going to be satisfied with it. Sure, in those crazy endgame scenarios, it's a lot less overpowered for it to deal 5 damage per hit compared to 10 damage per hit, but with the crazy radius that it has and the fact that it's basically impossible to counter, you're probably still going to see clips of players getting 3 to 4 plus kills with a single Storm Flip, and that's definitely a problem. Luckily, they also made the Storm Flip a lot more rare as well, lowering the drop rate of it in chests from 3.39% to 1.69%, and the drop rate of it in floor loot from 3.32% to 1.66%. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you watched the entire thing, be sure to let me know with a comment down in the comment section below. Based on everything you just heard about Update 9.21, do you think it was a good update or a bad update? Fairly straightforward question there. Be sure to leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications, do whatever the heck you want, and I will catch you guys next time.